To Officer Erin Linn, Canine Ubi is a colleague, a partner, a pet, and a friend. Lynn has been with the Meridian Township Police Department for 17 years and has been Ubi's canine handler for the past 6.
He would come to work with me and go home with me at the end of the night. I'm very fortunate that Ubi was a very good house dog, so Ubi could separate work and home quite well, and that's actually helped him transition into retirement. I think his transition into retirement's probably been easier for him than it has been for me. I was very fortunate. He's wonderful with kids, he's good in the house, he's not destructive, but when I brought him to work, he knew where he was, he knew what going to work was, and he loved doing his job.
Ubi was born and bred for police work. The 8-year-old German Shepherd was born in Hungary, where bloodlines are strong and training is geared towards law enforcement since puppyhood. But Lynn, who has a background in animal science, says there are qualities besides breeding and training that make a good police dog.
That's part of the reason it's so hard to find good ones. You need a good temperament. Here in Meridian Township, we want our dogs to be social. We want them to be able to interact with the public and do demonstrations and things like that. But fundamentally, you need a good work drive.
Ubi came to the United States when he was 2, and Lynn promptly began getting to know her new partner.
We spent 4 weeks just living together, getting to know each other. Forming that handler-canine bond is very important. The training was more about training me than it was about him, because he had had so much training already in Europe. It was more about me learning to read his body language, and interpret what he was doing, and that was what the 4 weeks were spent doing. For me, reading Ubi in a track was hardest, probably the hardest thing for me to do. And because it was more difficult for me to read him during the track, that made our successful tracks that much better.
In his time serving Meridian Township, Ubi was a valuable member of the police department.
He was actually a police officer. He had a police ID. He had a badge number. Ubi was badge 908. He did all of the patrol work, which includes tracking, article searches, building searches, and then he also did scent work, and his scent work was narcotics.
After 6 years working for the Meridian Township Police Department, Lynn says Ubi has begun to develop a temperament that is no longer conducive to work in law enforcement. He was retired and sold to Officer Lynn for $1 in July. Lynn hopes to work with another dog one day, but for now, she and Ubi are enjoying his retirement. In Meridian Township, Chloe Peter, HOMTV.